This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Advantage Healthcare India 2023, India, New Hub of Medical Value Travel. The participants are Dr. M.C. Mishra, former Director of AIIMS, New Delhi, and Lalima Aneja Dang, AIR Correspondent.
We have a two-day health event going on in Delhi, precisely 26th and 27th April. This is the 6th edition of Advantage Healthcare India, happening at Pragati Maidan, organized by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, inaugurated the session today with a video message. Now, one aspect which has been the highlight of the event is the fact that India has a robust medical tourism industry. Let's talk about it, and we have with us our guest, Dr. M.C. Mishra. Doctor, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lalima ji.
Well, we stand 10th in the world as far as medical tourism is concerned, out of a total of 46 destinations. Dr. Mishra, what gives our country an edge over others? Is it the fact that we have a low cost as compared to the West? Or is it tighter insurance norms there? You don't get appointments, that's what we hear. As a nation, are we more accessible as far as medical treatments are concerned to the foreigners?
Lalima ji, when we say that context of health tourism, then naturally accessibility and affordability. Any healthcare system is effective if people who want to access healthcare are able to access that whenever they want, whenever they need, and also it should be affordable. And then also come with that the high level of expertise.
Right.
And the whole infrastructure catering to different aspects of health body system when we say. Whether it is cancer, whether it is cardiovascular illnesses, whether it is neurosciences or neurological illnesses, whether it is organ transplant related services, the joint replacement services in orthopedics. So all these aspects and availability of high level of expertise where our healthcare sector has tremendous growth over last 20 years. So I think we offer lot of advantages in terms of cost, in terms of availability of resources and the treatment, and also the quality of treatment. That is something with the expertise. For example, liver transplant. Live-related liver transplant is largely done in India, in this region, because in developed countries it is mostly cadaveric and preference is given to their own citizens first. That is our high ticket, what we should call is expertise available in the country, and people have now vast experience in this area. So this is something which attracts, and naturally, why not? When we work with the basic ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, then it is incumbent upon us that not only that we think about our own people, but we also think of the whole world, like Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya. That is our philosophy, and that has been our philosophy for thousands of years. And other aspect, besides availability of modern healthcare, we also have a very strong indigenous system of medicine, which is Ayurveda, which has lot of strength, not only healing the body, healing the mind also. That is where we have an edge over any other country globally.
Doctor, there has been a brain drain, let's accept it, over the last few decades. Do you think that when medical tourism in India, the way it's gaining ground, the way it's gaining popularity, would it check this kind of brain drain and hold our doctors in our own country so that we keep our cream in our own country?
I think this brain drain was an old concept. When I was a student, then sometimes I remember that we had to take permission as a medical professional to go overseas. Although people have been going to US and other countries and to Gulf, Iran, a lot of doctors were going. But with the growth of healthcare sector, many of these doctors, nurses would like to work within the country if the opportunity is there. But there is another aspect that unfortunately we cannot absorb those numbers which are produced every year. Although on the one hand we say we still have some shortage of doctors and nurses. But then if we are not able to absorb them, then naturally they'll go out. I think in some way it is helping the country's economy also. I think now that concept is no longer there. If they get enough opportunities within the country, people want to work in our own country. So I think there is advantage and disadvantage of both. But now brain drain, which used to be something considered significant problem, is no longer there because we have good number of specialists in the country to look after our own people, and with the steep rise in more medical institutions, more AIIMS-like institutions, medical college hospitals,
Yes.
a growth of private sector. Now there are ample opportunities for those who don't want to go.
Doctor, you talked about Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. Yes, we did. In the way we handled COVID, it gave us a lot of confidence. We started exporting the kits and manufacturing and exporting. And we are currently world's largest producer and exporter of generic medicines. We are called the pharmacy of the world with a turnover of $42 billion worth medicines. And of course, Indian vaccines cater to 2/3 of the world's children. Have we arrived or way to go still?
Manufacturing vaccines have been our strength for a long time in India. During COVID, what we did was unparalleled in the history. Not only we provided vaccines to our own people, and I think the kind of vaccination program for COVID, we organized, systematic. You can take the certificate out at home.
Digitized,
Digital technology. And the COVID portal, it was amazing the way it worked, coordinated, how many vaccinations daily, how many adverse events happening, and the way it was done in remotest part of the country has been unparalleled. Although I must say that I was involved in 1975 when the whole vaccination program for eradication of smallpox was on in the country. And as a medical student, we were involved from community medicine to vaccinate large population to eradicate smallpox. And finally, India was declared smallpox free, I think in 1977 following that program. Childhood vaccination program has been in vogue for many years under Indradhanush program of the Ministry of Health. So I think that also gave lot of advantage for COVID vaccination. And then the availability of the vaccine, and then India could make its own vaccine, which itself, of course, this Covishield there were research in the UK, and then it was given to Serum Institute for manufacturing the vaccine. But the Covaxin is our own research product from the original virus.
Yes.
And then after that, Corbavax and Covovax and the number of vaccines have been developed in India. So I think we have proved that we can do when it comes to developing and doing research.
Dr. Mishra, you mentioned the CoWIN app. Similarly, we've had now a lot of startups. As far as startups are concerned, we are third in the world. When it comes to startups in the medical arena, this summit which is happening, it involves health ministers from 10 countries and 500 business delegates from more than 70 countries are there. There's going to be a lot of forging of partnerships, and stakeholders, decision makers, experts, professionals will be exchanging ideas, building contacts. Do you think that this will give a boost to our very own startups? Like we have CoWIN app, we have our own eSanjeevani app as well, which is about telemedicine. Do you think that this will help forge healthy partnerships in the spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam?
Absolutely. You see, about telemedicine, Lalima ji, we have been hearing it for a long, long time, but telemedicine could not become a reality the way it should have. But that is another collateral benefit which we have got from COVID pandemic, that telemedicine has come of age. And the use of telemedicine during COVID times for both healthcare delivery, consultations, follow-ups, and basically lot of conferences, discussions,
Yes.
and virtual conferences, virtual discussions, webinars, huge numbers have been conducted. So the collateral benefit of these aspects of digital technology has really boosted healthcare. We were discussing it was never used in the manner now it is being used. And I'm sure many of these practices will continue in post-COVID times also. And I think this is one area which India has leveraged tremendously. Other countries will also learn from it. And I'm sure other countries, we will exchange these ideas, their ideas for our advantage. And ultimately, the whole world is looking at how we can bring down the cost of care, cost of delivery of healthcare, and also accessibility. So I think that is the challenge, because healthcare, if we talk of urban healthcare, the corporate healthcare is hugely expensive, which is out of bounds for most. We have to pay, and if we have not taken any insurance, private insurance also comes with a lot of riders. So for those who cannot pay for their insurance, government has a lot of schemes like Ayushman Bharat and all those things are coming, National Digital Health Mission, National Health Authority, and I think we are moving in the right direction. It is a huge challenge to provide equal quality of healthcare for everyone, our own citizens. And also advantage can be taken by those who are coming for health tourism. Naturally, they pay, so they can go to private sector. Our own people, we have to depend largely on public healthcare sector. Infrastructure wise, equipment wise, and also health personnel wise has to grow. And fortunately, the healthcare sector is growing at a very rapid pace, and it will grow further. If you look at in 2022, healthcare sector was calculated at 11 trillion. In 2018, it was $8.5 trillion. So you can imagine the kind of money healthcare sector provides lot of employment. We should not lose sight. Even private healthcare provides lot of employment. That's why it is considered healthcare industry today. But we have to see that the quality healthcare is accessible and affordable for those who cannot pay for themselves, and for those who can pay will get the best quality of healthcare.
Dr. Mishra, we are now poised to manufacture, when we talk of Atmanirbhar Bharat, we're not talking about just defense. We are also now exporting defense equipment and toys. Let's not compare the two in lighter vein, I say that. But now, are we poised to export medical devices? Because we've talked about the medical services, because the government is allowing 100% FDI in medical equipment. Are we poised to export that as well to the other countries?
Absolutely. There is no doubt about that. Even before Prime Minister, when he took over, and I think Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, he announced in 2014, his first Independence Day speech. Even before that, I was telling all these people who were marketing foreign-made products, like CT scans, for example, MRIs. Why can't these be manufactured in India? When China can make it, why can't we make it? Like we are making phones. China and now India has become a biggest exporter of mobile phones. This we have done in last 4 or 5 years. Similarly, lot of medical equipments can be manufactured in India. There is a huge potential for it. The only thing, people have to come forward, those who want to do it, because what people were doing, they were actually finding it easy to import and deliver here and make profit in between. But I think for manufacturing, you need a different kind of setup. When we are going to make now these, what you call semiconductors, we have to move in this direction. If we claim that we are going to become some kind of a force to reckon with in the world, then we have to boost our manufacturing in all sectors, including, like for example, raw material for pharma industry. Although we are pharmacy of the world, but where does our raw material come from? It still comes from China. So that is where we have to work very hard so that we are not dependent on single country for these things. So most raw material for our, what we call API for pharma industry comes from China because of the cost competition. Steel, similarly coal. So there are a lot of things, and health sector is no exception. The high basically systems like the radiotherapy equipment, the radio diagnosis equipment, which are ultrasound machines, the CT scans, MRIs, we would hope that in next 5 to 10 years we'll have good manufacturing in India.
Yes, on that positive note, let me also add that thanks to our Prime Minister's vision, we also see a greater synergy of various ministries and departments. For example, when we talk about foreign tourists coming to our country, it means we need cooperation, active cooperation from the Civil Aviation Ministry, the External Affairs Ministry, insurance companies, Ministry of AIIMS, and so on. Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for talking to us. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you for talking to us.
You were listening to a discussion on Advantage Healthcare India 2023, India New Hub of Medical Value Travel. The participants were Dr. M.C. Mishra, former Director of AIIMS, New Delhi, and Lalima Aneja Dang, AIR Correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsdtalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.